There's certain things when I'm walking home at night. I think as an artist, I'm always looking out for interesting subjects, things that normally most people would look past, but I think tell a little bit of a story, carry some sort of emotional weight for me. I've been painting roughly for about 5 years. I probably did my first painting at the age of 18 or 19. Prior to that, I was doing a lot of drawing. It was probably my favorite thing growing up, and eventually graduated to painting when I went to art school. And it started out as something I was not too interested in, but through rigorous practice, it ended up just becoming an obsession. A lot of the subjects I'm painting, they're not particularly beautiful or inspiring. My practice is I prefer to paint from life. Landscapes tend to be the things that I find the most enjoyable to paint. People don't tend to sit for me very often, still lifes are a bit dull, and I enjoy painting outdoors. There's an opportunity to meet people, and you just get a lot of interesting subjects. I came home one day after work and thought, you know, what am I going to paint? I don't want to do another still life. You know what, I could just go out and paint tonight. And that was kind of the start of it. And I just started doing that on a daily basis. It's not so much about what the picture is of, but it's how you compose the picture. You could have a picture of bins, like wheelie bins, but if you compose it the right way and make it dynamic and interesting, it's not so much about what it is, it's like how you do it. If you can put up with the temperature, which I think was the hardest thing. I was doing it mostly during midwinter, and I was getting to the point where my fingers were basically freezing off by the end of each night. Other than that, it's actually really stable lighting condition. Compared to daytime, the shadows are shifting, the brightness of objects is changing constantly. If you want to have like a consistent or honest painting, you've got to work really fast and efficiently, or you've got to go back multiple times on different days to try to complete it. Whereas the night paintings, I could just stay out for 4 or 5 hours straight on a single piece and complete it in a session, because the light is just the same the entire time. When I first started, maybe I'd have 2 or 3 people a night coming up and saying something. As I did it regularly, I found more and more people would come up to me, because there would be people who initially would have seen me on the first few nights, but maybe were too shy to say anything, or it wasn't enough to pique their curiosity, seeing it just once. But seeing this strange man standing out in the middle of the street at night, painting 2 or 3 nights in a row, would become enough for them to come over and say something. And I think that's actually how I met Nathanael. He saw me on his bus trip home on a couple of nights, and then, you know, 4 nights in, he came over and said hi. It's like talking to a lot of these locals, it's really made me realize and feel a sense of community. Like, everyone's pretty dispersed in the city and there's not a lot of interaction, but if you get to know each person, you realize how like interconnected everyone is, and how we all kind of know each other or have some sort of relationship to each other. Or you go to this place, you know the owner through another person, and you know, there's all these connections that could exist. It just takes talking to people and opening them up and then realizing and seeing those connections. There's a lot of stuff that we're not really aware of. It made me realize that there's like this deep community web that's underneath everything. You just need to tap into. I came out here for myself. I came out to paint, to practice. I left with friendships and connections, which I think is really special.